Think about a big and fancy horse carriage. Each horse has a long leather strap called a rein that goes from the driver's hand to the horse's mouth. Prince Philip used to take his granddaughter, Lady Louise, on carriage rides every day. He was so clever that he found a new path to take her on every single time. She never knew how he managed to find so many different ways to go. But there is a much bigger secret about Lady Louise that people are starting to talk about. What if this quiet girl, who once worked at a garden center selling plants and flowers, is the person who gets the most from the Queen's secret treasure? While everyone else was busy looking at Prince Harry leaving the family or Prince William becoming very wealthy, something very big was happening at the palace. In her last few years, Queen Elizabeth was making private choices about who would get her favorite belongings. These choices would shock the rest of the family and make Queen Camilla very upset. This is the story of Lady Louise, the 22-year-old granddaughter you might not know yet. She got things from the Queen that show how the Queen really felt about her. The palace wanted to keep this a secret, but the details are truly stunning. Lady Louise was the Queen's favorite grandchild, even though nobody saw it coming. To understand why she got so many things, you have to understand her and the Queen. They had a bond that was a big secret inside Buckingham Palace. Lady Louise was born on a very scary day in 2003. Her mother, Sophie, had to be rushed to the hospital because she was very sick all of a sudden. Louise's dad, Prince Edward, was in a place called Mauritius, which is very far away across the ocean. He missed her birth. Louise was born through an emergency surgery, and both she and her mother lost a lot of blood. The tiny baby was taken to a special unit in London because she was very fragile and weak. This made the Queen feel a very strong need to protect her. This feeling lasted for over 20 years and made their relationship very special. The Queen loved her so much because she knew how hard Louise's first days of life were. Louise also had some other hard times when she was just a little baby. She was born with a condition called esotropia. This made her eyes look in different directions and they did not line up right. She had to have many surgeries as a child to fix her vision. Because she was the Queen's youngest granddaughter and was much younger than her older cousins, the Queen was very sweet to her. People outside the family didn't see it, but the Queen had a very tender and kind side. She really loved this girl and wanted to make sure she felt safe and cared for. In 2019, someone who worked at the palace said the Queen liked Louise the most out of all the grandkids. They said the Queen loved spending time with her in Scotland at her home called Balmoral. This was a surprise because people thought she would like the older cousins like William and Harry more. But Louise was very kind to everyone. She helped William and Kate with their little kids during the holidays. She taught Princess Charlotte how to draw pictures of rabbits and deer. Because Louise was so good at art, the Queen let her see special drawings made by Queen Victoria from a long time ago. These were secret drawings that were rarely shared with anyone else. A man who knows a lot about royals said they were close because Louise was the youngest. Because she had been sick as a baby, the Queen treasured her even more. A reporter said the Queen once sat with Louise and her brother James to watch a kids' TV show called Mr. Tumble. The Queen would visit them, or they would go to her house to watch TV together like a normal family. These quiet times away from the news cameras were the reason the Queen made big decisions about her money later on. Prince Philip had some things he loved more than anything. When he died in 2021 at 99 years old, the whole world watched his funeral. There were two beautiful ponies standing by a dark green carriage. On the seat of the carriage were Philip's hat, his leather gloves, and his whip. There was even a little red tub of sugar cubes for the ponies. These items showed how much Philip loved his horses. He started driving carriages in 1971 after he couldn't play polo anymore because his body hurt. He was very good at it and went to many big contests even when he was over 80 years old. He left his special carriage and his ponies to Lady Louise. He was the one who personally taught her how to drive when she was a teenager. They spent a lot of time together in the park training with the horses. Her mom said Louise was naturally good at it. In 2019, Philip was so proud to watch her win a prize. After he died, giving her his favorite things was more than just a gift. It was like he was passing his favorite hobby to her. Louise kept doing it and even drove in a big parade while the Queen watched with tears of joy in her eyes. By 2024, Louise was winning even more contests. She showed that she has the same never-give-up attitude that her grandfather had. To understand what Louise might get, we have to talk about how royal money works. Some money belongs to the crown, which means it belongs to the country and the next ruler. Other money belongs to the person. This is very confusing. The royal family has buildings worth billions of dollars like Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, but the Queen didn't own those herself. They automatically go from one ruler to the next. But the Queen did have her own personal money, which was about £500 million. This included a castle in Scotland and a big house in Norfolk. Her family bought these a long time ago and they belonged only to her. She also had over 300 pieces of expensive jewelry, fast horses, and cars. When a queen gives her money to the next king, they don't have to pay a big tax to the government. This means King Charles got everything. But before she died, the queen could choose to give special gifts to people she liked. People say she made some big changes to her will right before she passed away. She wanted to make sure the people she loved most got the best things. These secret changes made some people in the family very upset and jealous. The first big problem was about the queen's jewelry. People say the queen gave about $110 million worth of her jewels to Catherine, the Princess of Wales. This was a giant gift. It showed that the queen and Kate were very close friends. But this made Queen Camilla very angry. She felt like Kate was the family favorite and she was being left out. This is important for Lady Louise because it shows the queen wasn't just giving things away equally. She was picking her favorites. Camilla doesn't have nearly as much money as the rest of the royal family. Even though she is the queen now, she doesn't own the personal treasures Elizabeth had. Camilla's children, Tom and Laura, are also watching this happen. They are around the palace, but they aren't part of the real royal circle that gets the big gifts. Tom is a writer and he is trying to get closer to the king. Some people think he might get some money from King Charles later, but that depends on what Camilla says. Queen Elizabeth's money was hers to give, and she gave it to the people she really loved most. Why did Prince Edward's family get so much respect? It is because they didn't cause any trouble. Edward is the youngest son and he has always been very quiet and good. His brothers had many problems that were in the news, but Edward built a stable life. He married Sophie in 1999. Sophie is called the Queen's favorite daughter-in-law. She is very loyal and works hard. The Queen liked that Sophie was a good person who raised her kids to be normal. Louise didn't even know her grandma was the Queen for a long time. She just thought she was grandma. The Queen loved that simplicity. Their house was a place of real love and warmth. Sophie said her kids would have to work for a living. Louise even got a job at a garden center to earn her own money. This made them look very good compared to other royals who just wanted fancy titles. When King Charles gave Edward the title of Duke of Edinburgh, it proved the family was trusted. And because they are trusted, they are the ones getting the secret gifts and money from the Queen's estate. Lady Louise is a royal that no one expected to be important. She stayed away from the news while she was growing up. She worked hard at school. She is very smart. In 2022, right after the Queen died, she went to the same university in Scotland where Prince William met Kate many years ago. Then in 2024, she did something that surprised everyone. She joined the military training at her school. She wore a helmet and face paint and trained with other students. She is like both of her grandparents. She is shy like the Queen, but she loves horses like Prince Philip. She might want to work in the military or be a lawyer. These jobs would make her a great royal helper in the future. There are not many young royals left to do the work, so Louise might have a very big role one day. She is not just getting money, she is getting a very important job that other people in the family cannot do. She is preparing for a future where she helps the king and the country. Queen Camilla and her family are not happy. They are disappointed about the inheritance. Even though Camilla is the queen, she didn't get the personal gifts she wanted. Most of the jewelry went to Kate and other things went to the grandkids like Louise. Camilla is also worried about Prince Harry getting money. She is trying to get King Charles to give Harry less and give her son more. She feels frustrated because Lady Louise is a real part of the royal family and has royal blood. Louise is in line to be the queen one day. She got gifts because she is the granddaughter of Elizabeth and Philip. Camilla's son doesn't have royal blood, so he can't get the same things. For Camilla, this is about more than just money. It is about being important and having a high status. Louise decided not to use a fancy title, which shows she is humble and nice. In the royal family, the people who don't try to be powerful are often the ones who get the most in the end. Louise is quietly rising and proving that she is very special to the future of the